everyone, and welcome to Sunday Vibes at NST podcast, the show brought to you by the team behind Sunday Vibes, the New Straits Times lifestyle Sunday publication. My name is Intan Maizura, and I am the football-loving, coffee-drinking editor of Sunday Vibes. And in case anyone's remotely interested, my team is Tottenham Hotspur, and I'm a proud Libran.
Hi, I'm Elena Koshy. I'm the senior writer of Sunday Vibes. I love food, I love coffee, I love bird watching, not necessarily in that order. But hey, welcome to our podcast.
Yes, and the Sunday Vibes at NST podcast is essentially an extension of our print product, an informal Borak club, if you like, where Elena and I will be sharing our thoughts, views, and stories on a range of topics that we hope will resonate with Malaysians from all walks of life. So why not you just sit back, relax, and enjoy the vibe. Hi everyone, and welcome to Sunday Vibes at NST podcast, the show that offers down-to-earth, honest conversations that's part heartwarming, often funny, and always interesting. My name is Intan Maizura, and as always, I'm joined by my fellow host, writer Elena Koshy.
Hi, Intan. How are you today?
I'm good. And how are you?
I'm good, and I'm so excited to be here and, to be talking about such an interesting subject we have today, don't we?
Yeah, and we've got a really special show, actually. It's in conjunction with Malaysia's Merdeka Day or Independence Day, and our topic being Malaysian. But before we go on with the show, allow me to introduce our special guest, actually a long-time friend of mine. Her name is Karen Ho, a former broadcast journalist, and currently, if I'm not mistaken, a media communications specialist and a contributing writer with Sunday Vibes. Hi, Karen. Thank you for joining us and welcome.
Hi ladies. Thank you so much for having me. It's a real pleasure to actually be joining your podcast, which is growing by leaps and bounds. So thank you very much for having me as a guest today.
No problem. And what a muhibah gathering we have today, don't you think?
I know
you can't see us, but yes, we're very muhibah, right?
Yes, that's right. So let's get the party started then. So El, the topic being Malaysian. So I guess the next thing I need to ask you is, what's the most Malaysian thing about you?
I think the question should be, what's the most un-Malaysian thing about me, which is nothing. But Malaysian, I'm very much Malaysian. First thing, I can't get rid of the la. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Every time I speak, there's always a la attached to the end of my sentence, la. And also, I think all of us share this. We love food. Who doesn't love food?
Right.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's a totally Malaysian thing. What do you think, Karen?
Karen, what about you?
Yeah, actually that's one of the things I was thinking of too. That probably makes me that's the most Malaysian thing about me, because I think anyone who meets me for the first time may not think I'm Malaysian, because I'm probably not the typical Malaysian. The way I dress, the way I speak, everything, I do not come across as a typical Malaysian. But when it comes to food, I am so Malaysian. Okay, because I can eat anytime, anywhere. I will do road trips just for good food.
Oh, yes, that's what I was going to say. That's a very Malaysian thing, right? We'll just go the length and breadth of the country just to get to that salai in Kuala Pilah.
Exactly.
Or that laksa somewhere.
Laksa in Perlis. Yeah. So I think that's a common trait that we all share, right? For me personally, I think, this was quite a challenging question for me, to be honest. I was trying to think, what the hell is the most Malaysian thing about me? So after lengthy ponderings, I think I eventually realized probably it's my love for durian.
Oh, yes.
I can never say no to durian. And do you know it's durian season at the moment, how tortuous it is to resist?
I just had durians.
So that's what the smell was in the studio.
That's right.
Okay.
And I've got another one, since I did say that I did contemplate this question for a very long time. The other one is probably my propensity for letting things slide. I think that's that tidak apa, never mind lah, that very synonymous with Malaysians, I think.
I think we are the kind of people that don't want to offend others. We are kind of, we have this Asian politeness about us. We are not confrontational in that way. We'd rather keep quiet. But I think also, we are also keyboard warriors.
Oh,
I think we let loose, behind that anonymity,
Yeah.
But aside from that, I think we kind of let it slide. I think you're right.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Tidak apa. It can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing, but generally I think it makes us very chilled people. Don't you think?
Well, this leads me to the other point I was going to mention about one more thing that I think makes me very Malaysian, which is the way I drive.
Oh.
Yeah, I can cut across 4 lanes in heavy traffic, and I'm not shy to use my horn if I have to. If somebody cuts me, ooh.
Oh, you're one of those people I
Yeah.
absolutely detest when I'm on the road then.
But then again, but you know, I do respect other drivers. You know, I use my signal properly. You know, I try not to go, you know, forward at the yellow light or. Oh no, hang on. No, I do sometimes.
Oh, let's not lie there, shall we?
Yeah, I do.
All right.
I do sometimes run the red light. But I mean, this is the Malaysian thing, right? So that's something that's very Malaysian
I
about
think
me.
I think Malaysians are masters of creating their own rules. You know, I think
so.
we're champion jaywalkers, don't you think?
Yeah, we create our own rules.
We can cross the road anywhere.
Yes.
And
You know,
survive.
and survive it.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes, we own the road. It's our father's road.
Yes.
Anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, except Vietnam, because that's very scary, by the way. Crossing a road in Vietnam with all those hundreds of bikes, that's the only place where a KL person is very scared to
Okay,
cross.
I think that's where we should head to sort of, you know, hone our skills at, you know.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, my next question then is, what should you never say to a Malaysian? Al.
Yes.
You look really excited to answer this.
Oh yes,
one.
this kind of riles me up, and you know, Malaysians, we like to complain about, you know, the state of the country, the politics, you know, everything else. But you know, if a foreigner were to talk to me about Malaysian, it's just like, you know, those your mama jokes. It's only funny when it's your mama, but when it's my mama,
Yeah.
the claws come out. You know,
Yes.
it's like, you know, dude, you're not living here, you
Yeah,
have
what would
no
you
right
know?
to say. What would you know? You know, it's okay for me to complain because I
Yeah.
live here. You know,
That's right.
so yeah, so that really gets my goat, and I think that was one of the deal breakers for a potential relationship when that happened. And it, you know, like, you know, I don't know who said it, but another one bit the dust.
Because of that.
Yep.
Wow.
Can you share a bit more, like what kind of a complaint?
Yeah, what did the
was
person
made?
say?
No, I mean, he was here, you know, he was living here for a while. He just came down. He was here barely a month, and he was complaining about everything, about how the country was run, how the government offices work, you know, literally everything. And I mean, for a while, I just, you know, let it slide because I'm Malaysian, you know. You let it slide. Until you start talking about, you know, politics and, you know, what's wrong with the country. And I'm like, hey, okay. That's your mama joke, but it's directed to my mama. So yes, that's when the claws came out, and you know, yeah. So it bit the dust.
What about you, Karen?
Oh, for me, it's don't ever say that Singaporean food is better than Malaysian food. Oh
No
my
way.
gosh.
I agree.
Don't ever say the char kway teow is better. Don't ever
Yeah.
say the rojak is better or the yisang
Yeah.
is better. Oh my goodness.
Do you remember all that hoo-ha that you know that was abound when Singapore claimed that, you know, the hawker culture was
Yes.
theirs?
Oh my
Can you
gosh.
believe that? No.
See, I'm feeling riled already. I can feel the you know, the temper rising up to my head.
It's another your mama joke directed to my mama.
But it's true. I mean, how can... I'm sorry, like, if there are any Singaporean listeners listening, you know, we have great food, but sorry, Malaysian food is still far better.
Yeah, and don't say
you know?
nasi lemak is yours when it's obviously ours. Don't
It's
say
ours,
pate
dude.
is
It's
yours
ours,
when it's
dude.
obviously ours.
Don't say
right?
yisang was invented in Singapore. It was invented in Negeri Sembilan.
And never ever say that Datuk Lee Chong Wei is not a legend, okay? He's a legend.
He is a legend.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's ours.
Don't make me say another your mama joke to you, Singaporeans.
No, but we love Singaporeans.
We love them. We love
do.
them.
Yeah,
Yes,
all
we do.
right. Okay.
Moving on.
Now that we're so riled, as Malaysians, what are you most proud of about being Malaysian? Al?
Intan, do you want to go first for a change? You know?
Oh,
yeah,
me?
you go first.
Oh, okay. Well, there's not a lot of things that I'm proud of at the moment, but we're not going to go into that because that's not the question, right? Okay, sporting success. Okay, I can't remember when the last one was, but I have to tell you that every time we reach the podium, you know, and that would be, I would say, once again, Datuk Lee Chong Wei, you know, with badminton, I would feel incredibly proud. And actually, as a backstory, I was living in the UK, and I remember that every time the Thomas Cup came around, and Lee Chong Wei, you know, was either whatever, made it to the podium, and I could hear the Negara Ku being played, you know, that the lump in the throat, the sense of pride, you know. And the thing is, I don't associate myself with Malaysia in the way that, you know, natural raised born Malaysians are. But I can tell you the sense of pride is probably it's up there, with every Malaysian. So sporting success is something that I'm very proud of. And the fact that Malaysians have this giving spirit. I think we're a compassionate people. And, despite all the angst and all that some of us do display from time to time, I think generally we are nice, compassionate people. And the other thing I'm incredibly proud of is the fact that our shopping malls close late. You go to anywhere in Europe and you tell me which shops are open beyond 6 o'clock.
8 p.m. on a Wednesday if you're lucky, right? Overseas,
right. Yeah. So, I mean,
absolutely.
That's something to be proud of, no?
And we have 24-hour, food available too.
Before the MCO.
Yes, before MCO, yeah.
Oh, those kedai mamaks. I miss you.
So, El, what about you? What are you very proud of and grateful for as a Malaysian?
I think like Intan, I have to, give a shout out to Malaysians. We have been the kindest people during the pandemic,
Yes,
especially during this whole white flag Bendera Putih movement, and get people all together to give towards the unfortunate or those who are needing a hand. And I think that's something that's very, very Malaysian about us. I love that. And also, I mean, sports, come on. I remember growing up watching Thomas Cup, and for all our differences, we will all be at the TV.
Yeah.
And we will all be cheering. And I don't know, at that one point when, Lee Chong-wei was going against Ling Dan, we all hated Ling Dan.
Yeah.
He was good looking.
Well, no, he was good looking.
No,
he was handsome. No. We had this, how dare you, lose.
But we love you. Take off your shirt again.
Take off your shirt, but we hate you, But yeah.
So sporting success, sporting displays.
And the fact that we can get together regardless of our different cultures, of skin color. We have that in common, and that's something that's
That's one of the things that I'm very proud of as well, that we have a nation that is so culturally diverse. That's one thing. I can't imagine living in a country where it's just a single race. It's just so, to me, it's kind of blah. So it makes our culture and our lives so much more colorful when we've got different races, different cultures, different languages, different foods. And on top of that, our natural heritage. I mean, we've got everything from the mountains to lakes, to islands, to forest. I mean, it's just stunning. We're so fortunate to have all that. I'm very proud that we have beautiful landscapes,
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's one thing.
But there's one thing, I've learned, we can order food using 3 languages. It's like bang, or roti canai, please. And every language is covered there.
Tapao,
So it's amazing that we can. It's like we can slide and slip in and use the language, and it's Manglish. I love Manglish.
Rojak, yeah.
I've got something else that I really love about Malaysians, or I'm really proud. The fact that everyone's family. Think about it. Everybody's either an abang, adik, uncle, auntie.
Yes.
They don't even have to be remotely related.
Yeah.
Think about that, right? Isn't that wonderful?
Yes, that's
Where
lovely.
else can you go to and get this kind of big family tree?
So true.
Right?
So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
I love it.
great.
Everyone's a kaka as well, or it's very nice.
I mean, barring the fact that I'm now a kakak instead of a adik, but I get your drift. I get your drift.
Yeah.
I'm an auntie, it's so sad.
That's so
but it's
sad.
okay. It's okay. I don't mind. I'm embracing my auntiness. But I have one more to add to that, just to that topic as well. Something that maybe you hadn't thought of, but it does, make me feel proud that Malaysians have the 12th most powerful passport in the world. Did you know
We
that?
do?
Yes, we do.
Oh, okay.
I mean, 12 doesn't sound like much, but considering there
it's
are
in the
so
top
many
20.
countries. Yeah, in the top 15, which means that, because for someone like me who loves to travel so much, it's something that I'm really, really am very grateful for in terms of, basically, when I say that we have the most powerful passport, what it means is that you can travel visa-free to most countries in the world, or visa on arrival. So you don't have to go through the whole process of going to the embassy and applying it for for a visa. So that, to me, for anyone who loves to travel, I think Malaysians should be very grateful for that kind of passport power as well.
So guys, the message is be very careful with your passport.
Yes.
Make sure you don't lose your passport because it's a damn powerful passport to own, right? Right.
I mean, like you were talking about natural heritage. I think we're in the top 20 as well.
Are we?
Yes, we are.
Right. That's
awesome.
interesting. That's very interesting. Okay, now that we're so in love with our country, I guess the next not so obvious question is, what makes you hate to be Malaysian sometimes? I mean, surely you're not totally enamored, right? I mean, let's be objective here. So, Karen, how about I shoot you this question?
Well, I think currently, under current conditions, I'm sure we all have a long list. Let's not get into the political issues right now.
Let's stay away from
so
politics.
leave that aside. One of the things that does, one of my biggest gripes is when a public figure says or does something embarrassing or scandalous. I don't know where to hide my head. It is so embarrassing that I just don't want anyone to know I'm Malaysian. You know, when you have a Malaysian person just say something, hide it, and it makes the headlines of the BBC or something. It's like, oh my gosh, you know, foreigners know how our embarrassing, you know, dirty laundry. I just don't want to be Malaysian at that point, you know.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I get really embarrassed by that. What about you, Al?
I have got a lot of
no.
complaints.
No,
and a
no,
lot of
no,
gripes,
no.
But hear me out.
This is a Merdeka episode.
I know, but hear me out. I am not. I mean, there's never been a time where I don't want to be Malaysian.
Right.
I have complaints. I mean, no doubt, we all do. I mean, you know,
Some more than others.
Yes, some more than others. But I mean, yes, there are embarrassing things and, you know, scandalous things, and, you know, the list goes on. But I've not come to the point where I wish I wasn't Malaysian, because I'm rather proud of being Malaysian. I think I'm quite patriotic. I'm not sure whether there's such a thing, but it gives me that, you know, like, I'm Malaysian. Yes. You know,
Right. I think it sounds...
hear me roar. You know?
Yeah, like the tiger, the disappearing tiger, right? All right.
What about you, Intan? You haven't said yet.
Okay, I've got two. I don't have a whole list, but the main ones I think would have to do something to do with our toilets.
Oh.
I don't understand why there needs to be flooding in our toilets every time there's a hose in the toilet. And secondly, do you really need to step on the seat? You know, I mean, do you do that at home? Do you, El?
Not at all, man.
Right. So why do you have to do it?
I know that there's an aversion to germs on the toilet seat, but I think now that we have nice, shiny, modern malls and buildings with better equipped toilets, I've noticed less footprint marks on the seats.
And I think the fact that they've got rid of those water hose, that has
you got the
something to do.
bidet instead,
the
right?
bidet.
Yeah, so there's no
Thank
flooding
God.
issues anymore.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic for a podcast,
I think
right?
toilets are a great topic, but we're going to not get there. But
We'll flush that down first.
Yes, we'll
okay?
flush that down. What about endearing or interesting Malaysian quirks? Anyone has anything on their list?
Oh, yes.
Right, Karen, so you go
So
first.
I had, took me some time to think about, because a lot of the quirks can irritate me, like the driving, for example, and stuff.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I think is maybe endearing and quirky is the Malaysian usage of the propensity to use one or two words to express a range of emotions.
For example?
For
Right.
example, so how's the food? Okay lah. You know, how's your day? Okay lah. How are you? Okay lah.
And we're not very descriptive people then.
Not very descriptive. You could just say, don't know. Okay lah. Or so how? You know. I think we've all been there where we've heard one or two words, and somehow magically Malaysians, we understand what it means. When you say okay lah, I get you. I do understand what you mean.
My favorite one at the moment is serious lah. So I'm sure Elle gets me.
Yes, and then there's one that says, you know, like, how things boleh lah. You know, and I'm like, I get you. Do you want a coffee? You know,
How's the coffee? Okay lah.
okay lah,
you know?
boleh lah.
Yeah. Something that's quite endearing to me is the fact that I think Karen mentioned this a bit earlier, that we eat around the clock.
Ah, yes.
You know, we have mama 24 hours, right? I mean, prior to MCO. And I think that's really cute. And another endearing thing is the fact that you get all the races sitting around, you know, a cup of teh tarik. You know, everybody's having different accents and everybody's, you know, I don't know what they're talking about, but there's it's so nice to see, I think. And for me, that warms the cockles of my heart every time. You know, every time I pass a mamak shop and I see, you know, the different races sitting together.
Yeah.
That's just beautiful to see. And I hope that's something that we can see after the pandemic has abated.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What about, okay, I have something, and I probably am asking this question just to, you know, assuage my guilt. What's the most embarrassing confession that you might have in relation to this topic? Are you embarrassed about something?
In what sense?
You go first, Intan. You ask the
you
question.
go
You
first.
go first.
I think we need to hear more about this.
Okay, my confession. And I mean, I'm not proud of it, but since I created the question, I think, all right, I'll go first. The fact that to this day, I still don't know all the words to Negaraku. I mean, please, no brickbats after this. Do not abandon Sunday Vibes after this, okay? Because I am working on it. You see, because I have an excuse, I feel. Because, being brought up in England, I think the first song I learned was God Save the Queen. So I can sing God Save the Queen. Okay, so I'm not going to do it here because it's Merdeka episode. But to this day, I'm deeply, deeply embarrassed that I don't know the words to Negaraku. Having said that, whenever I hear Negaraku being sung or being played, especially during sporting events when Malaysia gets onto the podium, I can tell you I feel just as much as my fellow Malaysians. I don't have to know the words, right? But it's that feel that's there. So that's my most embarrassing confession. Does anybody else have anything?
Okay. All right. I'll offer something. So I probably would say the most embarrassing thing for me is being a Malaysian Chinese is not knowing my ethnic tongue, which is Chinese.
So you can't speak Cantonese?
Yeah, so I'm one of those bananas. I'm a real typical banana because I've obviously English educated. And I know there are many bananas out there too. The fact that I struggle every time if I need to talk to a mechanic, or to a contractor, and they tend to be more comfortable in Chinese. Oh my goodness, I sound really, really terrible. Like, like, oh my gosh, I won't even try. It's really a struggle for me to speak any sort of Cantonese or Mandarin. And I can order food, which is fine, and after having spent like 2 decades now in Malaysia, I still struggle. So for me, it's embarrassing for me. But I blame my parents, for not teaching me and speaking to me more.
Yeah, blame the parents.
Yeah, blame the parents. Because I really
Absolutely.
think that, for those who do have kids, I mean, some people think, well, it's okay, English is fine or whatever, but looking back, I do wish that, we are a country of multiracial people. And I think, in the long term, it is such a waste that we don't speak more than 1 or 2 languages, especially at least your ethnic tongue. So, and although I'm trying to address that by maybe, learning a bit of Mandarin here and there, because it is useful, but I think at my age, it's a little bit harder, but not impossible. So I would encourage anyone out there to please teach the younger generation to speak another language.
Preferably the language of your country.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, exactly. At least Malay or another vernacular language or something.
I'd love to learn Cantonese actually, because I have a lot of Chinese friends, and Karen's one who doesn't know how to speak Cantonese, but I do have friends who are Cantonese, and friends who speak Cantonese. But I would love to be able to learn another language. I mean, I speak French and German, but that's not very useful here,
Yeah.
So I think a local lingo would be the way to go. What about you, Al? Because you look suspiciously like someone who doesn't know her language.
Come on. She knows Tamil. She just mentioned what she can order roti
She does
canai.
not.
That's the thing. So I am exactly like Karen.
Oh,
okay,
no.
so I can't speak Tamil to save my life, and the only thing I can wing is probably going to a mamak shop or even a banana leaf shop and ordering things I can. But then when it comes to paying and they tell me the amount that I need to pay in Tamil, that's when I get caught out. Because I'll be like, okay.
Also, numbers, you don't know numbers in Tamil.
Yeah. I mean, ordering is, it's easy. I mean, I think most Malaysians, they know how to order, like, oru roti canai, you get by with that,
Yeah.
But when you actually, when they actually start to speak to you really fast.
And then you're like, what?
That's when it suddenly dawns on me that, I should have taken it up. But, it's absolutely true. That's something I kind of am a little bit embarrassed about, because people actually come to me and, because I'm Indian, so they think that
So
I
they
can
assume.
speak. So they just
assume.
break into Tamil or,
Right.
and then I'll be like looking blank. And
You'll have this horrified expression on your face.
Correct.
Like, what?
and
feel
I'm like,
you.
say what?
Yeah, Karen feels you, I think.
Yeah, I learned the basics now. Now I know how to say 谢谢 or 2块 or 4块 or something, So like money is very important, Al. At least the money thing, get that out of the way.
And
Food.
Food,
Yeah.
food I can. I mean, I kind of wing it. But, I can get by, but just not the paying part, because then I get caught out and I'll have to sheepishly say like, berapa ya?
Just give him a 50 ringgit
And
note
then
and that's it.
he looks, his eyes will be rolling, and then he'll be like, okay, then he'll tell me in either Bahasa or English. And I'll be like so shamefaced, walking out there. But another thing that I'm pretty embarrassed about, and I think Malaysians, we are so obsessed about food, and I think the people that I know can cook. I don't know. I think somehow Malaysians cooking, food, I think they're quite synonymous, But I can't even fry an egg. Oh God, I'm not sure I should be saying this on air, but don't hold it against me. No, wait a minute. I can fry an egg without burning down the kitchen. But yeah, so, these are the little things that I'm totally embarrassed about. But I'm not sure whether that it has anything to do about being Malaysian, but I would think that most Malaysians can cook.
Well, I think most Malaysians can cook something.
At least boil rice. That's the most basic. Boil rice, boil
boil
water,
rice.
make instant noodles.
I'm not sure. I used to be able to, because it's that finger thing, you put it in and then the water reaches a certain part of your finger. So that I've been taught, but I have not practiced it for a long time.
Do we still measure rice that way?
I do that.
Oh, you still do?
Because I don't have a rice cooker.
It's a Malaysian thing,
Oh,
I
is
think.
it?
Yeah.
I think it's a Malaysian thing.
there
You
you
measure
go.
rice
I
with
was
your
taught
finger.
that. Yes.
Right? And I'm so proud. At
It
least I know
works.
something
Yeah,
about,
yeah.
I think that's completely, and the fact that we take our shoes off before entering the house.
Yes.
All Malaysians do this?
Yeah. We
I
all
think
do
all
that.
Malaysians do that.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. I don't have an issue with Bahasa, even though I didn't go to school here for very long, because my parents, we were living in London, my parents would speak to us in English and Bahasa. So it was something I picked up. But when I remember when I returned to Malaysia, and of course I actually joined TV3, a very Malaysian TV station. Or Malay TV station, I should say. I did have issues. However, I did understand, and I only picked up Bahasa gradually over the years. So I have to say that my conversational Bahasa is pretty good. I can swear in Bahasa.
Yes. Don't you think that Malaysians can swear in all the languages? Most of the languages, at
I
least.
haven't learned. You
I
see,
haven't learned.
I haven't learned. Even the
Oh,
Chinese,
man.
actually the Chinese ones, of course, the
I
first thing to
keep
learn.
broadcasting all my bad points out
I
here.
think
man.
now you're going to be receiving brickbats after this.
My mom is going to be so ashamed of me.
No, the listeners will be agreeing because they will be just like you as well.
Yeah,
Don't
probably-
worry.
probably
In
you're
good
right.
company.
Listen, I swear in 3 languages. It's very Malaysian.
Yes.
Okay, I mean.
Indeed. Teach us later, lah. Teach us again.
Yeah, you can teach us later. But
Yes,
for
yes.
now, how about you tell me, what's your favorite part of Malaysia? Now, if you had to take a tourist around, and just one place, where would you take the tourist to that best, defines what you love most about Malaysia?
I think I would take them to Belum Temenggong.
Ah, the
You know,
forest.
the forest. Because I think one of the best parts of Malaysia, and I hope it will still remain the best part of Malaysia, is our natural heritage. The very fact that, we can go and see this, 130 million year old forest, pristine, and it's so beautiful. And, we go on the lake, we look at birds, and we have all 10 hornbills in Belum Temenggong, these kind of information. I don't know why I still retain
It's
those.
interesting trivia.
It's interesting trivia. And I think that, our biodiversity is amazing. I can't exactly limit it to Belum. I think basically all natural heritage spots. We have our Fraser's Hill, everywhere I presume that I can see birds because I love birds and I love bird watching. So yeah, I would take them there.
Right. Right. What about you, Karen? Where would you take a tourist to?
So I've taken quite a few tourists in my time, and they tend to be centered in the Klang Valley, of course.
Right.
So as much as I'd like to take people to other parts of Malaysia, and I totally agree with Elle, I think our natural heritage is something that we should definitely, expose more foreigners to. But being practical, and most tourists tend to be centered in KL and they don't have very long. So one of the places that I like to take people is the KL Bird Park. Okay,
Oh, more birds.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I know, because people, I don't think they come all the way halfway around the world just to see a shiny mall.
Yeah.
They can get into any country, but the KL Bird Park is one of my favorites amongst many other places, because people might be surprised to see that in the middle of of a busy,
City,
modern city,
yeah.
there's this beautiful green lung where we've got, I think it's still the world's largest covered
Aviary?
aviary in the world, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I think.
And it's just a beautiful, nice, relaxing walk to see free flying birds and peacocks just, next to you. And it's relaxing, and it's a nice change from, the shops and the cafes.
The
and
usual stuff
The
that they
usual
promote,
stuff.
yeah.
And
yeah.
also the Hornbill restaurant that's there.
Oh, yes, you can see hornbills too. Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God, I'm so
lovely.
embarrassed. I think the last time I went there was probably when I was, 16, 17?
Yeah. I went there last year, and they have added a fish spa now too. You can
wow.
actually put your feet in the fish spa, so they've added stuff there.
Nice.
So that's definitely something I recommend, along with Chinatown because of the heritage.
Right, right.
The walks and all the little quaint cafes.
What about you,
You?
Intan?
Me, okay. Unfortunately, I would prefer to get out of the capital city because I don't really enjoy the bustle and the skyscrapers and all that. I love forests. I mean, Belum, definitely, I've been there. But if I had to take somebody, one place in Malaysia which I most love and I've always loved ever since I came back is Cameron Highlands.
Oh, yes.
I love, hill stations. I love mountains. I love the cool air. And I guess it reminds me a lot of England. And I love scones and clotted cream, so that's not a surprise. But yeah, I do love the serenity, the tranquility, and the cool air of the Highlands. So I would take my friend or my tourist friend to Cameron Highlands.
Oh, lovely.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Tea.
I love the
Tea, that's right. That's
tea.
very
A cup of
English,
tea,
don't you think?
Yeah.
Right. That's nice. But Penang's also great though.
Oh, lovely.
But
Yes.
I wouldn't go for food like a lot of people would. But I love the heritage. Because I love colonial buildings. I
me
love,
too.
the leftovers that colonial masters left. So for me, Penang is another place that I love to go to, not for the food, but for the built heritage.
Yes,
Elle,
absolutely.
you were living in Penang for a while, weren't you?
Yes, I was. And I think, just walking around Georgetown, I don't know, it's something about that place that really, gives you that sense of history. And I absolutely loved Georgetown for some reason. I also like places like Ipoh, Taiping, all those little
Oh, Taiping is absolutely beautiful. right?
towns. off the
Malacca as
grid.
well. I love Malacca for the same reason, like Penang with the heritage, the
Right.
food.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
yes.
it's very walkable,
Very
Yeah.
compact.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Fraser's Hill. I don't know
Oh,
why.
you have a thing for Frasers. You
I
know what?
love
I've never
Fraser's
been
Hill.
to Frasers. Can you believe that?
I can. Not most Malaysians don't tend to
It's
go to
like-
They bypass
Yeah.
and go to Camerons or they go to Genting or something.
But I don't
Yeah.
know about Fraser's Hill because I feel like it's a step back in time. When you go there, it's a different feel. It's like as though the rest of the world has progressed, but Fraser's Hill is like 5 steps behind in a good way. For those people who are listening in and who thinks we need to do something. No, don't. It's absolutely tranquil and it's beautiful. And again, it's got lovely birds. Yes, birds.
Elle and her birds.
You can just go on the road. You don't even have to, climb a mountain or hang by a tree to see a bird. You don't have to swing, take a vine and swing through like Tarzan. It's just, it's a road.
I might enjoy that.
I love that. I'm not, you mean what? The
Swinging like Tarzan.
Oh, I thought she joined Tarzan. That's a whole nother topic.
we're
Yes,
not
that's
gonna
a
go
whole
there.
other topic there.
Talking about a whole other topic. Since we're speaking about Malaysia's Independence Day, just the word independence. I'm just curious, guys. When would you say that you received your personal key to independence? And please, this is not an X-rated show. We don't need to, for you to disclose anything that should not be disclosed.
Oh, man.
Elena, you seem to be grinning smugly there. Do you want to start?
I was hoping you would start, Intan. I think my independence came at the age of maybe 25. Because,
Wow, that's late.
Yeah, I know, right? Because I've been such a, spoiled little brat. But, yes, self-confessed spoiled little brat. My mom would agree with that. But I think when I left home and worked in Penang and living on my own for the first time and not very successfully, actually the first few months because I had to call my mom and ask her, like, how do you wash clothes?
Oh, are you
How do you
kidding?
do this? How do you do that? And, my mom would be like laughing over the other end of the phone and, But I think that was my independence.
Right, at the age of 25.
Yes, to be able to do things on my own, to be able to, actually literally live on my own, and
How to operate the washing machine.
how to operate the washing machine.
How to boil rice with a finger.
How to boil rice with the finger, how to cook an egg without setting the place on fire, things like that. Yeah.
Wow. What about you, Karen?
Actually, I would say 25 as
Seriously?
well. But I have to preface it by saying first that I think I've always had an independent streak since I was young.
Right.
I think my parents will definitely agree. So I've always been independent anyway.
Memang, That's very Malaysian of you, Karen.
Yes, thank you. Just here. But the reason why I say 25 is because that was the age that I started living away from my parents for the first time. Because even during university, in England, overseas, I lived with my mom the whole time. And even when I came back to Malaysia, I came back to live with my dad for a year. But I only broke away from that when I was 25. That's when I decided to rent a room in Taman Tun, just across the street from Sri Pentas. And that was my first taste of real freedom, where I had to pay the rent, pay utility bills, buy furniture. So that to me felt like real official independence, where I didn't, have someone to cook for me, do my laundry, didn't have to, paying bills, paying rent, buying furniture, to me that signaled real independence.
Right.
So that would be the age of about 25.
Wow.
What about you, Intan? Come on.
Gosh, now I feel like a child. I think I felt independent at the age of 16 to 17, I would think.
How?
Simply because I was already working part-time, so I was holding my own money. And I was also traveling around Europe at that age. So I felt very independent. And although my parents, were still like sniffing hounds, I felt that I had a lot of freedom by virtue of being able to make my own decisions, by being able to travel by myself, around the world, and by working, I guess, holding money, and having money in my pocket without having to rely on my parents. I think I felt independent. I think by 25 is kind of late for me. I think I was probably doing everything and anything, which I do not care to mention here. But yeah, so I think it would have been in my 16, 17. Please don't look at me like that.
I mean, you're right. I mean, I think earning money is probably one of the first signs that someone feels independent.
I felt so grown up that I could buy something with my own money without having to ask for pocket money, from my parents.
Yeah.
I think Asian parents, as compared to Western parents, I think they tend to hold on to their children for as long as we live. Yeah. I think there's that hold which you don't find it in any part of the world, because I think others they're waiting for you to fly the nest,
Get out the house.
Yeah, get out
earn your own money.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's also another thing about being Malaysian. We hold on close to our roots. No matter where we go, there's still that very strong hold to it's like, if you don't, it's like kacang lupakan kulit and all those things, So you see, we've got all those sayings too.
Right. So now that we've established that we are an appreciation society for Malaysia, do you guys have any last words to say? Now, I mean, Malaysia will be celebrating its 64th Independence Day. So, Elle, do you have anything to say?
I think we should be grateful. I mean, I know that there's a lot to complain about. There's a lot to be angry about, and you're absolutely justified to be angry and to be afraid for this nation. But at the same time, I think we do love Malaysia, and we love this nation, and we are in our 60s. We're still young,
Oh, I thought you said we are in our 60s.
I know.
I'm saying it collectively as a nation.
Thanks. Can we just establish that
Yes,
first?
yes. We are all not in our 60s, FYI.
Yeah, in case, there's Brad Pitt out there listening. So, Elle, please don't spoil my chances.
Lingdan, I'm not in my 60s, just saying. But
Take off your shirt.
Take off your shirt. Will this be edited out?
Calm down, girls. Calm down.
Again, yes, love Malaysia. There used to be this song last time, to know Malaysia is to love Malaysia.
Really? I don't know that.
Smile.
I don't know
God,
that.
I feel so old.
Okay,
How is it that I remember this song?
When was this?
Maybe we weren't in the
This is like
country.
those Visit Malaysia kind of ditty, you have to know Malaysia. Oh God, I'm not going to sing this.
Okay.
It's to love Malaysia, people smiling everywhere. Oh my God.
Oh, she's so patriotic. I love it.
I can't imagine. I still remember that. And yeah, and all those songs, like Satya.
Okay,
and
sing it.
the mean Kara. I'm not gonna sing this. Come on. But guys, wherever you are, just know that we are so proud to be Malaysians. We love Malaysia for all its quirks and failures and things that we don't really want to see. But at the end of it all, we love Malaysia. Our blood is running through the veins of this land.
That's
so
right.
yes,
Well said.
love
well
it.
said.
Love it.
Karen.
No, I totally agree. I think we all agree with Elle said. And I think that despite all the complaints and gripes and grouses that we have these days, especially under lockdown, no country is perfect. And I think if we had a choice to live in any country, we would still always choose Malaysia, no matter what. So when we have those days when we feel like complaining about this and complaining about that, I think we have to bear in mind, have a bit of a perspective and keep focused on the good things about Malaysia, which is our humanity, our compassion, the fact that, in times of stress and difficulty, we somehow band together, and to focus on those positives, because it gets very easy to focus on the negative.
Very true.
So
Very true.
just have perspective, guys, and stay strong and make sure that, your family and your friends, your neighbors, they are there for you, so just keep the focus on the positives.
Right. Wow, how do I follow that then? Well, like what Karen said, because I straddle two worlds. So I would call England home and I called, Kuala Lumpur home. But if you ask me, and a lot of people have asked me actually, where would I like to have my grave? So I have to say it's Malaysia. No matter where you are in the world, home is where the heart is. And for me, home is Malaysia. And, we've had a very, very challenging period, even though we've come so far, but the pandemic hasn't helped, our political situation hasn't helped. But I think it's also brought things out for us to celebrate. For example, the best of the Malaysian spirit coming to the fore. We show what kind of people we are. Whenever challenges arise, whenever, things like this happen, it's grey out there, it's gloomy out there. But I think as Malaysians, we still have things that we can actually be proud of and we want to celebrate. So, with Malaysia celebrating its 64th Merdeka, I think, let's not focus on the bad stuff that's shrouding us right now. I think there's a lot to be grateful for, to feel blessed. And,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I feel like breaking out into song again. Please, guys, come on, you listen to this. To know Malaysia is to love Malaysia.
I promise you, I will learn
People
Negara
smiling everywhere. I don't know. I can't get that tune out of my head now.
Right. And on that note, I think there's not much left to say except that thank you guys, for the sharing. It's been most insightful and. Now I'm feeling all passionate about
I know,
Malaysia.
we should stand up and sing Negara Ku.
I think we should have the show end with Negara Ku.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, with Intan singing in the background.
Oh, yeah, in the background.
In the background.
Humming. I can hum.
And I'll be the background dancer. I'll just dance and do a bit of a,
that's something
at the back.
That's something worth getting us on TV for,
I
don't you
think
think?
so.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think you guys should see us on TV.
Right. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you for having me, girls.
Yeah.
It's been great fun.
Thank you, Karen,
really.
for joining us.
My
it's
pleasure.
been really interesting. And to all our listeners, thank you for joining in. And please don't forget to get your copy of Sunday Vibes every Sunday in the New Sunday Times, because really, we write as well as we speak.
We've got great stories for you. Come on, guys, pick up that newspaper, It's a good habit. The actual newspaper in hand, nothing beats it. But, you can always go online, www.nst.com.my. Oh, I did it. Yes.
That's a mouthful. Thank you, everyone, and Selamat Hari Merdeka, Malaysia.
Happy National Day, Malaysia.
Selamat Hari Merdeka. Bye-bye.